Hello, Chelsea fans. Welcome back to the Blues Report, and remember to subscribe, then enjoy your news. Let's dive in. Alejandro Garnacho. The Blue Dawn at Stamford Bridge. Football is not just a sport of statistics and victories. It is the art of narratives that intertwine destiny, ambition, and passion. Every generation has its share of stories that transcend the boundaries of ordinary transfers and rise into legends told by supporters in pubs, classrooms, and homes. In the summer of 2025, Chelsea Football Club scripted one such tale, the acquisition of Alejandro Garnacho, the Argentine prodigy who had been the pride of Manchester United's attack. The move was more than just a transfer. It was a seismic event that reverberated through the English footballing landscape. The rise of Garnacho, born in Madrid to Argentine parents, Garnacho carried a heritage of flair, creativity, and fierce determination. He developed through Atletico Madrid's academy before being recruited by Manchester United at the age of 16. In Manchester, his raw pace, daring dribbles, and relentless energy transformed him from a promising teenager into a household name across Europe. By the 2023-24 season, Garnacho had already scored decisive goals, leaving defenders helpless and igniting crowds with his electric runs. He represented not just a player, but a spirit. Fearless, unapologetic, and willing to take risks when others hesitated. Yet with greatness came expectations. At United, pressure mounted on the shoulders of a still young Garnacho. He was adored by fans, but the club's inconsistent performances and constant managerial transitions often weighed heavily on his development. Amid growing uncertainty, whispers began to emerge. Could another club offer him the environment to flourish fully? Chelsea, ever ambitious, began to circle. Chelsea's vision in transition. In the early 2020s, Chelsea entered a turbulent era. Ownership changes, managerial reshuffles, and waves of transfers created an atmosphere both exciting and unstable. The squad was rich with talent, but often struggled to find balance. Stamford Bridge, however, has always been a theatre of dreams for ambitious players, and the new Chelsea project promised something unique, a team designed around youthful brilliance. By 2025, Chelsea had established itself as a sanctuary for emerging stars. With a roster brimming with potential, Cole Palmer's artistry, Enzo Fernandez's midfield mastery, and a solid defensive structure. What they lacked was a winger who could shatter lines and shift momentum in moments of adversity. The recruitment department, identifying Garnacho as the missing puzzle piece, crafted a daring plan. Bring the Argentine to West London, not as a supporting actor, but as a protagonist. The transfer saga, few transfers capture global attention like Garnacho's move. Negotiations began quietly, with Chelsea's directors reaching out to Garnacho's representatives. His contract with United still had years left, and convincing Manchester to part with their jewel seemed nearly impossible. However, Garnacho himself had begun to question whether his full potential could be realized at Old Trafford. The allure of Chelsea's project, centered around youth, supported by stability, and guided by a long-term vision, pulled at his heart. When news first broke that Chelsea had submitted a record-breaking bid, the footballing world erupted. Pundits debated endlessly on television. Fans flooded social media with opinions ranging from excitement to disbelief. United resisted fiercely, but the Argentines' desire to embrace a new challenge eventually tilted the balance. By late July 2025, the deal was sealed. Garnacho would don the royal blue jersey. The transfer fee, astronomical by any measure, symbolized Chelsea's determination to build a team of the future. Arrival in London, the day Garnacho landed at Heathrow, thousands of Chelsea supporters gathered at Stamford Bridge, holding flags, singing songs, and welcoming their new hero. The atmosphere mirrored that of a championship final rather than a player presentation. Garnacho, dressed simply in a blue blazer, stepped out to chants of "Garnacho, Garnacho!" His smile carried both humility and confidence, a recognition of the monumental step he was about to take. In his first interview, he expressed gratitude to Manchester United for shaping his career, but spoke passionately about Chelsea's vision. "This is not just a transfer," he declared. "It is the start of a dream. I want to make history here." Integration into the squad transitions are never easy, especially for a young star shifting from one English giant to another. Yet Garnacho's arrival was met with warmth inside Chelsea's Cobham training ground. Cole Palmer, himself a former Manchester City player who had crossed rivalry lines, welcomed Garnacho with open arms. Enzo Fernandez, a fellow Argentine, instantly became a guiding presence, easing communication and building chemistry both on and off the pitch. In training sessions, Garnacho's qualities became evident immediately. His acceleration left fullbacks scrambling, his willingness to take on defenders added unpredictability, and his finishing, refined in Manchester, brought a cutting edge Chelsea had long sought. Coaches noticed not only his physical gifts, but his mental resilience. Despite the media frenzy, Garnacho immersed himself in the grind, focusing on tactical integration and understanding his teammates' rhythms. The first matches the Premier League is unforgiving, yet Garnacho's debut in blue was a spectacle. Facing Arsenal at Stamford Bridge, he entered the pitch to a roar that shook West London. Within minutes, he tore past defenders, winning free kicks and creating chaos in the opposition's half. Though Chelsea did not win that night, the crowd knew a star had arrived. Weeks later, against West Ham, Garnacho scored his first Chelsea goal, a curling effort from the left wing that nestled into the top corner. The stadium erupted, and Garnacho sprinted towards the Matthew Harding stand, arms spread wide, as fans showered him with adoration. Commentators declared the moment as the beginning of a new era. Tactical importance, Chelsea's coaching staff envisioned Garnacho as more than just a winger. His role was to be dynamic, switching between left and right flanks, exploiting weaknesses, and giving the team tactical flexibility. His partnership with Palmer blossomed quickly, the duo exchanging sharp passes and creating spaces opponents struggled to close. Enzo Fernandez's precision in midfield found Garnacho's runs time and again, while Nicholas Jackson thrived from the service Garnacho delivered into the box. For Chelsea, Garnacho became the embodiment of the bridge between raw talent and structured football. His daring style reintroduced an unpredictability reminiscent of the club's legendary wingers, Arjen Robben, Eden Hazard, and Damien Duff. Supporters, long yearning for that kind of attacking thrill, saw echoes of past glories every time Garnacho charged forward. Challenges along the way, no story of greatness is without obstacles. Garnacho faced intense scrutiny, especially during matches where his influence was subdued. Critics labeled him inconsistent, while rival fans mocked his high transfer fee. Physically, the relentless demands of the Premier League tested him with minor injuries and fatigue. Yet resilience defined Garnacho's response. Each setback became fuel for improvement. Extra hours at Cobham were spent refining his decision-making, perfecting his finishing, and building strength. His humility shone in those moments, never shying away from criticism, instead embracing it as part of his growth. Impact beyond the pitch. Garnacho's presence extended far beyond football. At just 20, he became a cultural icon at Stamford Bridge. Merchandise sales skyrocketed, children imitated his celebrations in parks, and Argentina's growing Chelsea fan base celebrated him as their own. His story also carried symbolic significance. A player leaving one of England's greatest clubs to carve a new destiny with their rivals underscored the new era of football, where ambition and vision could outweigh tradition. The legacy begins. By the end of his first season, Garnacho had not only contributed with goals and assists, but also transformed Chelsea's identity. The team looked bolder, sharper, and more united. His presence reinvigorated the dressing room, elevating standards and inspiring belief. Fans whispered of titles, of a renaissance at Stamford Bridge, and of Garnacho being the face of that revolution. Legends are not built overnight, but Alejandro Garnacho's move to Chelsea in 2025 was the ignition of one. For the supporters, he was not just a player, he was hope incarnate, a reminder that football's magic thrives in its ability to surprise, inspire, and unite. As the floodlights glowed over Stamford Bridge and chants echoed into the London night, one truth became clear. Chelsea had found its new dawn, and its name was Alejandro Garnacho.